Have you done something extraordinary lately for someone other than yourself? Something like using your voice for the greater good, or standing on business in achieving a task for someone, or even giving others some positivity towards their life. Have you done something extraordinary lately? Welcome to Chronicles with Stephie, everyone. Think of a word, a positive word, and it may just be a chronicle shared in this space. Let's make life more meaningful. Beautiful people of the world, hello gems, how are you? Welcome back. It's a new month. We're in the month of February in the year 2025, thank God. And it's a new week, and with the new week means there's a new episode. So hello everyone, how are we doing today? How are we doing during this week? I hope that it's a week of intention. I hope that everything that you would have aspired to happen happened, and if it did not, we just continue to give God thanks and just acknowledge that in the right time, at the right time, God will make it happen. So welcome back everyone, or welcome if you're new here to Chronicles with Stephie. I'm your host Stephie. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say a hearty thank you. My heart is filled with gratitude at this moment for every single one of you who purchased a copy of my book, A Tool to series. It is still available for purchase, both ebook version and paperback on Amazon. So if you search in the description box below, you will see it. If it's something that you think you want to read, you can go ahead to purchase a copy or share it with someone. But thank you so much to every single soul that has thus far made a purchase of A Tool to series. I absolutely appreciate you all. Now, by the title of today's chronicle, it is called Stand. So if this is something that you think you will be interested in, or if you just enjoy listening to my voice, welcome to Chronicles with Stephie. We're still in season 5. We'll be in season 5 for a little while. Today is Stand Chronicles. Now I'm just asking everybody to walk down memory lane with me. Do you recall when you were a child doing childlike actions and behaviors? Or when you didn't have a care in the world other than to do your best in school? Or, hold on a minute, how about playing or coloring, or playing Chinese skip, if you know, or hula hoop, bat and ball, marbles, stuck and free, boy girl animal place thing, when you were running from the bad dogs in your neighborhood, or going to church, having ice cream on Sundays after your dinner, or going to bed early on a Sunday for school the following day. How many of us recall a hug from our grandparents, or a lesson that they would have taught us, playing with our friends or our cousins, or going to the beach or the river if you're a river person, or just eating your favorite snacks as a kid? I'm pretty sure you'd give almost everything today to get back to that life of ease, that life of bliss, with not a worry in sight, to just live. And I'm pretty sure we'd all stand up super quickly and jump at the chance to relive our childhood if we could. I know I would. For reasons unknown to the human mind to fully accept, we have no choice but to age and grow, to put away childish things and liken unto ourselves the role and responsibilities of adulthood, the type of hood where we are bombarded with decisions and far greater choices, and on what flavor ice cream to choose from on a Sunday after dinner. It's that hood where train up a child in the way he should go comes into play and in full effect. It's that hood where we explore and become exposed to each other's foundations, good, bad, and indifferent. The hood where we navigate the challenges of the journey of life and cement our morals and values as a person, and ultimately collectively as a people. It's that hood where our decisions and actions have far greater consequences than receiving a detention for being late to class, especially that class that we always hated in high school. It's also the hood where the sheep become separated from the goats, and wolves unfortunately continue to hide in sheep's clothing. It's the hood where we have to be equipped for survival and stay 10 toes down. The hood where we align with various crowds and crews and do as the heathens, or as the churchgoers will do. The type of hood where mistakes are leveraged for one's life. Money and fame are projected on outer society so that, we can squabble and fight over it. And the list, my dear gems, goes on and on. We've been woven into a world in which the devil was cast into and seemingly preys on adults more than little children because, well, Satan knows that they are too close to God because of their innocence. We grow and age into adulthood and create generations where we take off incorruptible, and unfortunately, we put on corruptible and in the same breath stand up and ask, how did we end up here? To stand, gems, as I always give a definition, the verb, the derivative, it means to be in an upright position, normally on one's feet. The noun of the word to stand means the attitude towards a particular thing. I recently taught a childhood friend of mine a game that I used to play, and it was really exciting, you know. But more than the excitement, it was just so memory filled, because I played that game with my cousins when we were children, when there was no electricity, or you know, we had to turn off the TV during summer holidays, because I mean, if you know a Caribbean household, we can't run up the light bill. You know, then it dawned on me that wow, I am truly an adult. I'm at the age where I would sit in my grade 1 class looking at my teacher, then who was my age, stand up in each lesson writing on the chalkboard and teach me all I needed to know in grade 1. I'd be in a hurry too to get older, to stand tall and wear those high heel shoes like my teacher and clink clack as I walked. But I digress. I am today an adult. How? Where? When? I am an adult. I read my Bible and prayed every day, and subsequently I am standing in adulthood today. What a thing! And if that weren't enough, I look at my parents. I do. And I look at their lives and I smile, because they too were once my age, and still they are standing now in adulthood with me. I give God all the glory. Because it's funny how life evolves and cycles out, isn't it? The choices my parents made resulted in me being here today. They stood 10 toes down and raised their children on the values and principles that would shape their future, whether good or bad or indifferent. They stood on their belief system, their family, their village, their intelligence, their love, their prayers. They stood with the lives God gave them to do the darn thing. All while being adults, they grew up, and so did I. How do little children grow up and are able to stand on their own 2 feet, so to speak, and live accordingly to the will and the word of God? How many of us stand up for God when we grow into adulthood? Or remember that one Sabbath or Sunday school lesson about Jesus being nailed to a cross for our sins when we become older, when we become adults and enter into adulthood? Is it when we wake up one day and realize that time was never our ally? Or we're at that age where our loved ones are off married with children and we turn down every frog not exercising patience that he turned into a prince? Or even dissing the short girl because she had a cruel devil attitude and not waiting for her to evolve into a swan? How many of us turn away when persons in the streets or even on the bus start telling you and I about Jesus? We plug in our headphones and ignore, right? Let's make it simpler. How many of us as adults stand up against injustice and go into spiritual warfare against the principalities of good and evil? Stand up to the bully harassing the innocent. Stand up and help the elderly crossing the road or carry their shopping. Do we only stand when there's a benefit or reward in this hood because, well, life is seemingly so hard? Or do we only stand when it's convenient? Can we even stand at all, though? Will you keep standing when the path becomes more narrow? Or will you just run to the wider roads that lead to destruction? Will you fall timid in the lion's den? Or will you behave like a Daniel and stand boldly in the face of it, in the face of the adversaries and the injustice? Will you finally stand up and start that which you've always wanted to start? Or will you just continue to sit and watch the years God gave you pass by? And I'm telling you something right now, you will wake up one day and you'll no longer be 3, 4, 5, and 10. You'll be 55, 58, 60, and 70, and you will look back and you will say, wow, where have those years gone? Gems, the days might be long, but I can tell you and confess right now, the years are short. Because I look into my life and I'm here in adulthood, and nobody could ever tell me that I would be here in adulthood. So when will be the right time to stand up for yourself, your people, this world, but most importantly, to stand up for God? Now, the song of meaning today is Stand by John P. Key. I encourage you all to take a listen because it's really a lovely song. And as a child, you take on average a year to learn how to stand up and walk. But once you start mastering that task, it's as if you never want to sit down again. You stand and use your feet to travel here, there, and everywhere. but it's time to stand up and let your feet take you to Jesus. Because, well, He's been holding you up as a child when you took your first steps. And now He's waiting for you and I to stand up for Him, to stand in reverence and holiness for Him, to stand up and proclaim the gospel in these our last moments on earth, to stand up for righteousness' sake, to stand up so that the devil can sit down and permanently too, to remember those moments where you stood and waited for, to be unfrozen during Stuck and Free, where you stood waiting to be served the ice cream on Sunday, or even where you stood up to jump rope or hula hoop, to get dressed for school or to play outside with your friends. While you are able and have breath, stand up for what is right, for what is noble and what is just. Stand up for the poor and needy, the sick and the shut-in, the degenerates and the castaways. Stand up for yourselves and each other, because sooner rather than later we won't be standing, but rather in the grave. And what then? Would entering this adulthood would have mattered even? It's lovely to think we wish we could turn back the hands of time, but truth is, and I'll say it again, truth is, it wouldn't even matter, because we were more destined to stand, and not just nilly-willy either, but to stand on firm, solid foundation of Jesus Christ. Will you stand with your loved ones and family, friends, or even with me on this podcast during this episode before God? Do something extraordinary and stand up. Stand up for Jesus. As per usual, gems, peace and love and light. And I'm gonna be standing and waiting for the next episode. Bye everyone.